How's it going, guys? So, an incredible piece of news came out of Israel today, guys. When I say incredible, I don't necessarily mean pleasant. Very, very healthy, quite healthy, I would say. With the exception of the fact that he had, let's call it manageable diabetes, and he was checking his sugar every day. 34-year-old guy in Nes Ziona, Israel. It's a city, I would say, like 20 minutes away from Tel Aviv. He already had 4 you-know-whats. Took it 4 times. And I think he might have gotten shmovid like 3 times. Or even 4 times, I'm not sure. But Kitzer, after the most recent time, the doctor told him, okay, you have like antibodies and stuff like that, and wait a couple of months before getting a schmooster. I'm assuming the doctor knew that this guy took 4 already. I'm assuming that. The guy went, and I'm also assuming that he waited a couple of months. The guy went to his local Khalid. Khalid is one of the HMOs in Israel. We have Maccabi, Khalid, Meuchedet. So he went to his local Khalid clinic, and he got the 5th shot, and he got immediate something arrest. C arrest. The story goes, ladies and gentlemen, that he apparently they had a whole situation with a delay, or they put him on an IV or something like that, or there was a delay. I don't know what the full story is. Meaning, I know the full story, but it's not clear kind of, what really went on. But apparently they called the wrong ambulance, the one that didn't have intensive care. I read this article on Mako. This is one of the biggest websites in Israel, one of the biggest mainstream media websites in Israel. I was surprised that it was reported. It wasn't reported anywhere in international media, of course. Why would it be? But at least, Israeli, what are they called? Journalists did their job, so-called journalists. And the only reason I found out, ladies and gentlemen, is because there was a guy, Dr. Eli David on Twitter, posted about it, and then I went and actually did the research. I typed in the guy's name. His name is Moshe Ugur. And I typed it in Hebrew, and I found these articles in the mainstream Israeli news. Nowhere to be found in American news. Nowhere. So, and it's all in Hebrew, and I did the translate. Yeah, guys, so his family are, usually you're not supposed to do an autopsy by Jewish law, but I guess the mother, she said that they're going to do an autopsy. The brother, I think it was the brother, basically said, this is horse, what the Israeli media, Ministry of Health are saying is horse crap, because, the guy was ostensibly healthy, relatively healthy, and he took, and immediately he took this shot, and boom. Like, there was no heart issues, there was no cardiac issues with this guy, no pre-existing. Okay, he had diabetes, but you don't get cardiac arrest in a clinic after a shot, ladies and gentlemen. You just do not. You don't need to be a doctor to know that. This is like, we're talking about Believe Your Lying Eyes, Monty Python, dead parrot situation. Somebody comes in with a dead parrot and they slam the parrot on the desk. Don't tell me it's pining for the fjords, okay? The parrot is dead. He is no more. Okay? I'm not referring to the guy. I mean, whatever. If you see something and it's obvious that whatever that something is what you think it is, it's probably what you think it is. You don't need, like I said, you don't need double blind Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles to look at it, double blind. You don't need peer review pressure. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, peer pressure review. You can pretty much tell, you know, if you're looking at something, if you look at the wall and the wall is painted green, you know what I'm saying? The wall is painted green, then it's green. Don't tell me it's red. What do they say? Don't piss on my head and tell me it's raining. This is what they've been doing for the past couple of years to us guys. Total. It's not even pissing on our head at this point. It's like defecating on our heads, you know, and telling us that, I don't know, it's snowing. I don't know what kind of snow it is, but it's snowing, apparently. So, ladies and gentlemen, the question now is, you know, even if these scum, by scum I mean the Ministry of Death, and all the Prime Minister, and all these people, Schmeiser, media, all these, they're scum, ladies and gentlemen. Just so you know, they're scum. Just from talking to them, you know they're scum. They're scum. All these so-called patent attorneys that work in biotech, scum, okay? If they can't fess up to what actually is going on here, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, like my friend Frank says, and again, we're not making any like threats, we're just telling you what's going to happen because we can see it coming down the pike, right? The people are going to take, unfortunately, they're going to take matters into their own hands. It's a shame that this has to come to this. My friend is saying they're feared to admit they were wrong. Well, listen, the people who went along with this are afraid to admit they were wrong. The people who did this, who are like, the people who let people off a cliff, I mean, if they were to admit that there's a problem, they're in deep doo-doo, ladies and gentlemen. You know, guys, I was reading today quotes by a man by the name of Joseph Goebbels. You guys probably know. He was the head of the propaganda, basically. He was the Minister of Propaganda, Ministry of, I guess, Communications for the Nazi regime. You know what he said? And I'm really paraphrasing. He basically said that he said this of his his cohorts, his so to speak partners. He said either we're going to go down in history as the greatest people who ever lived, you know, the greatest regime, the greatest leaders, or we're going to go down in history as the greatest criminals that ever lived. So, ladies and gentlemen, these guys in their heads, I don't even know if they're at that kind of level of thinking. You know, you're talking about B.B. Bennett, all these people, not only them, like Burla, Shmurla, Fauci, Mousy, whatever, all these people that are responsible for all this stuff, ladies and gentlemen, you know, they must be thinking to themselves at this point, in the back of their, somewhere in their deep recess of their heads, we are probably, if this gets out, we're probably going to go down as the biggest criminals who ever lived. They know it. They know there's a chance. They think, oh, maybe they're this, maybe that, maybe we'll just, you know, maybe we'll kind of do, what is it called, a timed release of the information, slowly, you know, now slowly, the FDA and CDC are coming out with the information. There might be a link, and then, you know, now they did after one day of testing and after one day of review, you know, like internal affairs, they came to the conclusion that there is no issues. But they're slowly, you know, they're priming the people, the normies, for the information to come out. So they think that, you know, when it finally does come out, all of it, right? Like, not in piecemeal, but like the entirety of it, they're thinking that, like, oh, they'll be able to say, well, guys, we knew just as much as you did, you know, we didn't know. Had we known, we never would have this, we never would have screamed at people, we never would have, told people to shut up and take it, like Yuli Edelstein did in Israel. We never would have done any of that stuff. We knew just as much as you. You know what Obama used to say, I found out when the media found out. Ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, this we didn't know thing is not going to work for them. Do you think they will create a distraction to escape justice? Probably, they will. They're already creating them. The economy. You know, what did Clinton used to say? It's the economy, stupid, you know? The economy, different things, guys. They're going to create them. Wars. Escalate the wars. Why do you think they're escalating the wars, guys? For their own health? For poops and giggles, or what? Anyway, guys. Something's got to give, you know what I mean? Even Goebbels himself said, at some point, he said this, Goebbels said this, at some point, a lie can't last forever. The truth you know, it has to collapse and the truth will supplant it. You know, this is Goebbels who said that. The same guy who said if you tell a lie, a big enough lie, often enough, you know, people start thinking it's the truth. And you don't, you know, he also said you don't need to kind of get into the intellectual aspect. Just give people the basic thing, big lie, very basic. People are going to believe it. Ladies and gentlemen, at some point this whole thing's going to collapse on their heads. And again, you know, it's going to be the question of what is this going to look like when people realize the jig is up. And those of us who didn't go along with it, you know, I don't know, we're going to have to stand back. And hopefully they won't, you know, they'll lash out at, these people will lash at their abusers and not at us. But in the meanwhile, we're going to have to help them. Just like I said to my friend, I don't know if he's watching, my friend, you took 5 also, brother, man. You know, you're my friend, man. I care. You know, you want to call me obsessed? If you're obsessed, then you're possessed. If I'm obsessed, then you're possessed. You know, I'm obsessed with people living and not dying. I mean, that's my obsession. You clearly are possessed by something, and you have to go and get people here on the 3rd shots. They realize something's up. You're going to get your 5th, bro. Like I said, man, I hope you don't get the 6th, but if you get the 6th, tell me. Like, I'm not being sarcastic or trying to be a dick. Tell me and I'll go daven for you, man, because it's just, you see what happened to this guy. You know, ain't nobody got time for that, brother. Be safe. Alright, guys, I'll talk to you soon.